And I guess bringing in a new White Wolf at this point in the season, a bold move and a tall order for Liam.
And of course, he wanted to honor the character that had already been set up, because he knows that he's stepping into a role. But at the same time, he wanted to make sure that his performance was authentic, that it felt like him, that he wasn't playing and mimicking anything. And
they're promoting it all that much because here it is, season 4 for The Witcher. Not looking good so far when it comes to the reviews.
Yeah, I mean, I saw The Witcher Blood Origin, and Jesus Christ. Yeah. Like, I was watching that for my channel, and I couldn't make it past the second episode. It was shocking how bad it was. And I was expecting it to be bad, and I was still kind of surprised, like, Jesus Christ, this is something else. It's like a woke fever dream.
Promote this thing until a month before it came out. They knew that switching from like Henry Cavill to Liam Hemsworth, as downhill as the franchise has gone, everybody knew that even they knew it'd be shit.
For other positive reviews, well, you've got IGN, that's never a good sign, and as Critical Drinker says, they can't exactly be trusted when The Penguin got a 5, The Witcher got a 7, and The Marvels got an 8. It basically looks like their score goes up the more girl power a series has. Siri. Although they did give Willow a 9, so there are times when they absolutely knock it out of the park. I think the strangest of the positives is CBR though. Liam Hemsworth Geralt silences the haters. What, you mean like the critics? Do you mean the professional top critics? They've been silenced, yes. Probably because they left and didn't finish the series. They're not watching any more of this tripe. That's why they don't need to talk about it anymore. This season of The Witcher is make or break.
Spends the first like 10 to 20 minutes of the show trying to make you forget about Henry Cavill. They do everything they can to retcon it. I was shocked. They show Henry Cavill in multiple scenes, like when they're recapping, and they won't show his face. And then they reshot sequences that had Henry Cavill in it with Liam Hemsworth, so they could like completely erase him from everything. They redo the fight with the oh my gosh, what is it called? The Ekimara?
I have always looked at fan reactions, whether they be fully supportive or negative or aggressive or whatever they may be, as passion. Fans are just passionate. I'm a fan.
It finally happened. The fall of a giant. The Witcher Season 4 hit Netflix with the force of a collapsing empire, and instead of reclaiming its throne, it sent shockwaves through the entire fan community.
It comes out that we'll see of Henry Cavill as Geralt. You saw the fan reaction. 300,000 people have signed this petition to keep Henry Cavill and fire the writers instead. Well, we know that's not going to happen.
I'm a teen journalist that was crying that her clit was taken away from her with the Savant. So I can't help wondering that this review is basically just a hankering for a certain somebody. And look, the review isn't all bad. She even brings up ironing just to solidify the patriarchy. Does make me laugh though, she brings up the opening sequence that recaps the events, when all it is the Where's Waldo of The Witcher, otherwise known as Where's Siri?
Your entire being is dedicated to finding someone, your Siri.
Whatever. What was once Netflix's proudest fantasy saga, the show that rivaled Game of Thrones in ambition, has now become the internet's favorite cautionary tale. And the wildest part? The chaos didn't just come from angry fans or bad reviews, it came from the very person who built it all, breaking down live for millions to see. This wasn't supposed to be how the story ended. The Witcher was destined for 7 epic seasons, countless spin-offs, and a legacy that would outlive its cast. Instead, it became a meltdown that exposed everything wrong with modern streaming. But to understand how things went so wrong, we have to go back to the one decision that changed everything. The moment the White Wolf himself walked away. For millions of fans, Henry Cavill was Geralt of Rivia.
I'm the most annoying guy on set because I'm saying, excuse me, you do realize that this should be happening and they wouldn't do that, and you haven't read this, that means this would be impossible. And everyone's just going, Henry, just shut up and do the thing. And I'm like, I don't want to do the thing because he wouldn't do it this way, and he can't.
The perfect embodiment of a character who'd existed in fantasy pages and video game screens for decades. From the moment he first stepped out of that mist, silver sword in hand, he didn't just play The Witcher, he became him. Cavill wasn't a studio's random pick. He was a self-proclaimed Witcher superfan who had read every book, finished every game, and even lobbied for the role before Netflix had officially greenlit the series. His passion was contagious. Interviews of him talking about sword fighting, lore accuracy, and character depth went viral because he cared in a way that felt rare in modern Hollywood. He wasn't just acting for a paycheck, he was protecting a world he loved. So when, in late 2022, Netflix dropped the bombshell that Cavill was leaving after Season 3, it sent shockwaves through fandom. There was no buildup, no gradual hint, just a single, almost sterile press release confirming that Liam Hemsworth would take over the role. The internet erupted within minutes. Twitter trended with hashtag #NoCavill, YouTubers uploaded emergency reaction videos titled "The Witcher is dead." Memes flooded Reddit showing Geralt's medallion cracked in half. It was more than disappointment. It was heartbreak. Cavill's own statement didn't help calm the storm. He thanked the team, wished Hemsworth luck, and quietly stepped back. It was diplomatic, respectful, and yet eerily final. But fans read between every line. Why was the man who had defended the books, clashed with writers over lore, and practically lived as Geralt, suddenly walking away at the height of success? Within days, speculation exploded. Some insiders whispered that Henry had grown frustrated with creative changes. Others claimed the writing team didn't respect the source material, and Cavill, ever the lore purist, couldn't stomach it anymore. Theories spread like wildfire. He'd clashed with Lauren Schmidt Hissrich. He was exhausted by constant rewrites. He felt the show had lost its moral compass. None of it was confirmed, but the damage was done. The narrative had formed. Henry didn't leave The Witcher, he escaped it, and that single belief changed everything. Suddenly, what was once a fandom united by love turned into one fueled by suspicion and anger. Fans began to rewatch earlier seasons looking for signs. Clips of Henry's tired interviews resurfaced with captions like, "You can see it in his eyes, he was done." Even minor creative choices, Geralt smiling too much, new armor designs, altered dialogue, became evidence of a creative betrayal. The internet's story was simple. Henry cared, the writers didn't. Behind the scenes, Netflix tried to control the narrative. Official accounts congratulated Hemsworth, calling the casting a bold new era. But no amount of corporate optimism could patch what had already fractured. The audience wasn't just losing an actor, they were losing trust. In the eyes of fans, The Witcher had committed its first unforgivable sin. It forgot who its true hero was. By the time filming began for Season 4, the energy around the franchise had shifted. Instead of excitement, there was dread. Comment sections under every promotional post were flooded with comments like, "Without Henry, this isn't The Witcher." People weren't speculating about storylines anymore. They were keeping score of every decision Netflix made. The spark was gone. And perhaps the most tragic part, Henry Cavill never said a bad word publicly about anyone involved. He left quietly, gracefully, as if to prove a final point. His silence became louder than any interview ever could. Fans interpreted it as confirmation that their suspicions were right all along. The man who once embodied Geralt, loyal, stoic, and bound by principle, had chosen to walk away rather than watch the world he loved fall apart. That was the day the magic died. And for The Witcher, nothing that came afterward ever felt the same again.
After Cavill's exit, fans hoped Season 4 would somehow prove them wrong. But as new episodes rolled out, it was obvious something had changed. The gritty, grounded tone that once made the continent feel real had been replaced by glossy, confusing subplots and forced modern twists. Online forums filled with comments like, "This doesn't even feel like The Witcher anymore." Rumors swirled that writers in the room openly mocked the source material, while producers pushed for a lighter, more marketable version of the show. Whether those rumors were true or not, perception became reality, and perception kills trust faster than bad ratings. Every creative choice, every rewritten line, every deviation from the book started to look like proof that the team no longer respected the world they were adapting. By this point, even loyal fans started to walk away. The show hadn't just lost its lead, it had lost its soul. By the time the first Season 4 trailer dropped, anticipation had turned into dread. Then came that line, Geralt shouting, "Let's fucking move!" A single phrase, just a few seconds long, but it sent the fandom into chaos. For many, it symbolized everything wrong with the new direction. Tone-deaf writing trying too hard to sound edgy instead of authentic. Lauren Schmidt Hissrich, the showrunner, tried to defend it, saying it reflected the show's evolution and that our Geralt would absolutely say something like that. But to the fans, it was tone-deaf damage control. Within days, memes exploded, dissecting every frame of the trailer. TikTok was flooded with side-by-sides of Cavill's Geralt, stoic and mysterious, versus Hemsworth's, who now looked like an imitation. The buzz wasn't excitement anymore, it was disbelief. Instead of hyping the season, the trailer confirmed fans' worst fears. The magic was gone, replaced by a version of The Witcher that didn't understand what made the original work. When The Witcher Season 4 hit Netflix, the backlash was instant. Brutal reviews, viral memes, and endless threads dissecting every creative decision. The fandom had turned toxic, and Lauren Schmidt Hissrich, the showrunner, who once proudly led the series, found herself at the center of a storm that was spiraling far beyond her control. For days, she stayed quiet. No interviews, no statements, just silence. But silence online is like blood in the water. It only attracts more sharks. Then one night, she broke that silence. With little warning, Lauren went live on Instagram. Her intent seemed simple: to address the fans directly, to clear the air, maybe even regain some respect. The live stream started calmly, her sitting in her office, wearing a black hoodie, eyes tired but focused. She thanked everyone who still supported the show, talked about the challenges of adapting such a beloved story, and said that she understood that not everyone would agree with her vision. But within minutes, the tone shifted. Thousands joined the stream. The comment section exploded with a mix of angry rants, sarcastic emojis, and supportive messages drowned in a flood of negativity. "You ruined Geralt! You never respected the books! Bring back Cavill!" The words scrolled so fast, she could barely read them, but the frustration on her face made it clear she didn't have to. She knew what they said. Her voice trembled slightly as she tried to respond. "We did our best to honor Sapkowski's world, but adaptation isn't about copying. It's about translating emotion." That line should have sounded confident, but instead, it came out as a defense, one that only fueled the fire. The chat exploded again, some viewers mocking her tone, others begging her to stop explaining. It was like watching a dam begin to crack, and everyone knew what was coming next. A few minutes later, her tone shifted again, softer now, almost pleading. She said the hate had become personal, that the team was receiving threats, and that she never expected fans of fantasy to act like this. Her hands fidgeted as she scrolled through the endless wave of comments. Someone wrote, "You're crying because you killed your own show," and it stuck. Her lips tightened. The camera caught that tiny moment, the split second between holding composure and losing it. And then she broke. Her voice cracked mid-sentence. "You think I don't care? You think I didn't love this world too?" The tears came fast, raw, unfiltered. It wasn't performative. It was exhaustion. Months of pent-up frustration collapsing live on screen. Within seconds, clips started spreading. Viewers screen recorded everything. One TikTok labeled the moment, "The Witcher showrunner loses it," live. Another added dramatic music and the caption, "This is what Hollywood pressure looks like."
By the time the stream ended, Lauren had logged off abruptly, leaving thousands of viewers stunned. Some felt sorry for her. Others called it a PR disaster. But either way, the damage was done. In less than 20 minutes, the show's narrative had shifted again, from a disappointing fantasy series to a full-blown industry spectacle. Major entertainment outlets picked it up within hours. Headlines read, "Witcher showrunner breaks down amid fan backlash." The fallout was relentless. Twitter dissected her every word, her tone, even her background decor. Fans who once adored her began questioning if she was fit to lead. Critics debated whether this was genuine emotion or strategic vulnerability. And while the internet debated, one truth became clear. The meltdown wasn't just about Lauren. It was the culmination of years of miscommunication between creators and fans. For Netflix, it was a nightmare. Instead of calming the controversy, the livestream poured gasoline on it. Algorithms pushed clips everywhere, sparking hundreds of commentary videos with titles like "The Witcher Disaster Just Got Worse" and "Lauren Hissrich's Breakdown Explained." It became entertainment in itself, a meta-spectacle where the downfall of a creator overshadowed the show she had built. In a strange, tragic way, that live moment humanized her more than any interview ever could. It showed the side of Hollywood people rarely see: the exhaustion, the creative despair, the reality that behind every failed series is a person trying and failing to make something they love. But for The Witcher, it was too late. The meltdown didn't just mark the end of a season, it marked the end of trust. And from that point on, no statement, apology, or PR campaign could undo what the internet had already decided. The Witcher wasn't just a failing show, it had become a case study in how even the strongest creators can crumble under the weight of their own creation. While the internet argued, Netflix's internal charts told a harsher truth. Viewership for The Witcher Season 4 dropped nearly 50% compared to Season 3's debut week. Critics called it directionless, soulless, and a shadow of its former self. On Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score plunged. Even The Ringer and Collider described the show as a corporate product trying to remember why it existed. Within a week, the series slipped out of Netflix's top 10, a staggering fall for what had once been the platform's flagship fantasy. Executives reportedly held emergency meetings to assess the franchise's future. Insiders hinted that spin-offs were being quietly shelved and marketing budgets slashed. The message was clear: this wasn't just bad PR, it was a full-scale collapse. Fans had moved on, critics had written their obituaries, and Netflix was left holding the ashes of what used to be its fantasy empire. Just when its noise seemed ready to die down, the leaks began. Alleged screenshots from private group chats inside the production team began circulating on Reddit and Discord. One claimed that frustrated writers said they were no longer making The Witcher, we're making whatever Lauren wants. Another alleged Netflix exec called the show's leadership a liability. Whether these leaks were real or not didn't matter, they fit the narrative too perfectly. Suddenly, everyone had a theory. Some former crew members liked shady tweets hinting at mismanagement. Others posted cryptic messages like, "We tried to stay true to the books. We lost." The entire production turned into an open-air autopsy. What used to be a beloved world of monsters and magic had become a Hollywood horror story. Every silence from Lauren or Netflix just made things worse. The internet had its villain, and it wasn't Geralt. As the dust settled, one question echoed across every fandom corner online. Who's really to blame? Was it Lauren's ego, Netflix's corporate interference, or fans' unrealistic expectations? Depending on who you ask, the answers vary. Some say Lauren became too proud, ignoring the very audience that built her success. Others claim Netflix forced unnecessary changes to chase broader appeal. And a small group believes the hate went too far, that no creator deserves to be publicly broken down for trying something new. But in the end, The Witcher became the ultimate warning for modern entertainment. When a show loses the trust of its fan base, it doesn't matter how big the budget is. Once that bond breaks, it's almost impossible to fix. The Witcher began as Netflix's boldest promise, an immersive, gritty saga that would define fantasy television for a new generation. Now it's remembered as one of the fastest implosions in streaming history. Henry Cavill's departure, creative overreach, tone-deaf marketing, and a showrunner's public breakdown, all of it combined into a perfect storm. Maybe Lauren Schmidt Hissrich truly believed she was evolving the story. Maybe she just wanted to leave her mark. But good intentions don't save broken trust. What once united millions of fans across books, games, and screens has turned into a fractured community asking the same haunting question. Was this the fall of a show, or the downfall of a creator who stopped listening? Either way, the curtain has closed. And in the silence that follows, one thing is painfully clear. The Witcher didn't just lose its hero, it lost its heart.